wanted to start off and kind of talk about how the Todoroki family has been through so much. And so the scene with everyone visiting Dabi was very bittersweet.
Oh,
I felt very emotional watching that. It really drives home all of the what ifs if things had worked out
oh,
differently for Toya. And
Absolutely.
so I just wanted to ask all of you, what are your thoughts and feelings on that scene and how everything panned out for your characters?
I'll just say quickly, or if you want to go, Patrick, go ahead. Yeah.
No, no, go for it. Go for it.
Lindsay, it's amazing that um, I've been describing this scene. Well, first off, it was very emotional for me as well. I kind of felt much like Shoto does in that scene where I felt like I wanted more time, and he ultimately asks, because you're talking about season 8, right? When they go the current season,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah. Like
yeah.
when they, he says, I need another moment. But what struck me is I've been talking about this sense of it's kind of a profound regret that I feel around that scene, and I think that Shoto feels it for sure, but it's hard to know if it's character, if it's me, but I definitely feel it as well. And you couched in the question, you said that the what ifs, and I hadn't really thought of it that way. I mean, that is what regret can be, is what if this, what if that. But those what ifs are so palpable to me. I mean, coming off of season 7 and the journey that all of them took, and that final sort of when we all the apology scene, and when we all showed up when Dobby was there, and I just found myself with a sense of God, what would it have been like if things could be different? If just one little decision was made differently, or and it had me yearning for that to play out in some way, even though
Mhm.
that's not the story and that's not how it goes, and that's how life is sometimes. But yeah, there's a sense of the loss. I think it's a real loss of what could have been or what could be.
Yeah.
Um, and there's some innocence that I share with Shoto that I kind of go, well, is there a way we can save it still? Can we salvage it? Isn't there something we could do? So there's that childlike kind of like, no, Papa, tell me there's a way. So all those things come up for me around that scene.
Mhm.
I agree completely. I mean, the, it's I'm in the beginning of my mourning phase for certain. This is I mean, my voice is still a little rough from working on the scene you're talking about.
Mhm.
I feel like we all felt this way, especially at the end of this decade run. We really wanted to do it justice. We really wanted to leave everything on the battlefield and make sure that we honored it as much as we could as performers. But that said, those what ifs are huge. And it makes me specifically think of, there's two distinct moments for me, and I won't go into that, but, for a while now, I've thought about, what if he'd done something different at this point?
Mhm.
Or what if he'd done something different at this point? Would we still be here? Would it still be? We start to forget that these guys aren't real. It's and with the 10 years, I mean, hopefully that's a bit understandable. This guy's
Mhm.
been in my
Mhm.
head, and I have been trying to think like him, and uh trying to put myself in this position, trying to tell the emotional truth, as we've mentioned over and over again, and be as honest as we can be as performers. Um,
Mhm.
it's is it did it end precisely how I'd want it to? Absolutely not. Um, I I I wish they all could have their redemption stories, and everybody would be happy in the end. But ultimately, that's not what life is like, right? I mean, life is complicated, and you don't get to choose. You only get to choose how you react. And there's a lot of great lessons in this.
Mhm. Mhm. It sort of feels like for the Todoroki family, like it ends twice. I mean, you've got the big ending out on the field, and then you've got the coda of this scene of them going to visit Toya. Um, for Endeavor, it's tough because I wasn't reading ahead, and I there were times when I fully expected like, okay, he's not going to get out of this alive. Like his sins are manifest and sacrifices must be made. And if he, doesn't see the end of this, like I understand that from a storytelling point of view. So even the fact that he is so broken and humbled at the end of this process with, some family members still willing to have a relationship with him and others being like, you're never going to see me again. Bye. It's, uh, I'm glad because if he were dead, he's not learning anything. Like, even if it were a heroic death, even if it were a mandatory death for whatever that means, he wouldn't learn anything. I personally like the idea of him still having to grow and learn and reflect and sit with it. And now that's all he can do. Like,
Well, and
he can't hide behind being a hero anymore.
it's interesting too, Patrick, and I haven't mentioned this yet, but it occurred to me, I even said out loud between cues in that last session I had, I said, man, he's still like he's so proud of Toya. Like he was so
Hmm.
proud of the power that he was able to culminate.
When he
Like
said that was
it
my
was like
hellfire, no matter
I
what
was
they
like,
say.
yeah, I mean,
Hmm.
that was like
Mm.
and I felt like you could feel the reaction like Toya took that a little bit and like
Hmm.
that's what he
Oh,
that's what he wanted the
yeah.
whole time
Hmm.
was that
Hmm.
approval.
Yeah, of
Ah,
course.
Look what I can do, Dad. Watch me.
Yep.
Yeah.
God.
Yep.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So David,
Yes.
Shoto is the character that drew me into watching My Hero. Like
Sure did.
I saw his hair. Knew nothing about the show, but I said, "All right, I'm sold. That's it. I need to watch this." The one thing that has always stood out for me, but this was not on purpose, by the way.
Right, right, right. It looks great. I love it.
um,
Yeah.
Thanks. The one thing that has always stood out to me, though, about him as a character is that the way he carries himself, despite all of the emotional weight on his shoulders. Like when you
Yeah.
find out his backstory and you're like, oh my God, like this guy has a lot of hurt that he's carrying. So, in the aftermath of everything that's happened now, if you could talk to him, what's something that you would say?
Oh my God. Um, you know, I don't know that I would necessarily even give him advice, or say that there was anything he could have done differently. I think I would applaud him and um affirm him for in the face of everything that he's gone through and you know then joining this highly competitive school without really very many skills at all to navigate the social world of that school, or that I would commend him for continuing to stay open and continuing to want to learn, and for his perseverance, for his true, I mean, he's strong as far as his quirks go, but his true inner strength. Um, I would commend him for all of those things, and I would tell him, trust your journey, trust the path. You've been doing that, whether you knew it or not. And it won't, if you stay open, and you stay vulnerable, and you ask for what you need and ask for help, you'll be rewarded for that, even if it doesn't seem that way in the moment. Yeah, I think, him being where he is, in the sibling order, I think that speaks a lot to maybe the way he was able to just, like you said so astutely, just kind of carry all of that in such a seemingly on the outside graceful way. Um, y- you know, I think that was about having to navigate childhood, and that was the way, every child in a family unit figures out a way to deal with whatever the chaos might be. And I think his way was to stay quiet a little bit,
Hmm.
when you first meet him, he's in the background. And I think I mean, even I was always curious. I was like, is he ever going to move up in the class? But even in season 8, he's still in the back of the class, just chilling, doing his thing. So anyway, that's a long-winded answer. There's so much I could say about, his journey, but that's what comes to mind when you ask about what would I say. It's so hard to, I don't know. It's so hard to
Of
even
course.
detach myself enough to, yeah. I feel like I learn more from him than he learns from me. That's for sure.
Mhm. Uh, Jason, so I just wanted to come back to you saying, just about the characters kind of becoming real to you. I think that fans very much can echo that sentiment just because of all that you guys have put into bringing them to life over the years. Like they will live on with us for so long to come. Um, but Dabi was such a complex character from start to finish, and the way that you voiced him really just brought that to life tenfold, I think. Because I've watched subbed and dubbed, and I loved the dub experience of just hearing the emotion that you bring to him. So I just want to know, what has portraying him meant to you?
I tell people all the time he's my most therapeutic character, and I mean that literally. I mean, uh, I am a survivor of. My mother gave me up when I was 3. My father's from South America. He was a very intense disciplinarian, and I had a really interesting childhood. And there's a lot in the way that they wrote Dabi, aka Toya, that I can relate to directly. Um, I don't necessarily have the exact same daddy issues or mommy issues, but I have them, and I have them in spades. And they definitely, that little guy that was wondering why he wasn't wanted is still at my core. So I understood when I figured out what his story was that that's what's at his core too. And that to be able to kind of relive these moments in a safe space and have more ownership over what happens, more power in the situation, yet no one gets hurt, is truly remarkable and unique. What incredible therapy! I mean, um, it's just it's changed me. It's made me a better man. And for years, I've always said that I would not change a thing in my upbringing because I like who I became. And it took me a long time to like who I became out of all of that. But even more so in the last 10 years, um, I don't know. It's gradually the therapy through this work has been very helpful, and I meet a lot of fans who have similar situations, unfortunately, and the notion that this character who starts off as this arsonist psychopath, how ultimately the fact that he could become a comfort character to so many is something that was truly unexpected, but he became a comfort character to me. So I understand, and I love talking to folks about that and why that's so important to them, and sharing with them. And I think the more we can do that in our real life circumstances, um, that the better we'll be, and it's just opportunity for growth and to be better. Um, Unlike David, though, I know precisely what I would say to him. Let it go for you, not for
Mm.
them. Let it go for you. And, you know, that is being selfish. But by being selfish, you might save a lot more and live a much different life that's way, I don't know, in which you feel more love.